Kentucky Route Zero. Let's finish this. Maybe I should mute. I'm in Discord because I'm going to be reading all this text.
Don't mind.
Huh?
I don't mind.
I mean, okay. Run, lady, run.
Christmas Carol.
I feel like I already did this part. Disney's Christmas Carol is pretty good, I guess.
I'm playing this game. I want to say the correct name.
So you're going to play Rust with me, so what?
I'm playing fast game right now. Three hot dogs. Three dogs.
Oh, here we go. Drink. An untouched drink sits on a table, forgotten or abandoned or simply wasted. That's no good. Hello, Will.
A Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Hello, happy to be in here. In the here and now. I heard a shuffling, and you're dragging your feet, or just enjoying the sand between your toes. Yeah, it's nice to slow down for a minute. We have time. Lots of glass here. Patches, boys. Load the empties on the barge. I told them. Try to keep it separated in its own little pile. That way, when we get to disposing of it, any environmental-minded folks present can easily set them aside for recycling. I love the river, but I don't care for the current. It's too relentless. Lake Leth, though, is calm, cold, and deep. At any opportunity, I'm ashore meditating. One day I may be left behind. I wanted to ask you something. I thought of it earlier, but it didn't seem like the right time. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. You want to know where we're going? What do I want to ask this guy? Some advice about that mechanical mammoth. Oh, I'll figure that out eventually. I do appreciate your insight. I suspect you have a kind of intuition for electronics. You understand them like you understand not a person, but a cat or a dog, maybe. It's your calling, not from society or authority, but an inner calling. Should have said it's in your nature. Wouldn't you agree? Guess so. Yeah, I thought so. Alright. Done with that dude. Hello, Sonny. Hey, did you hear the ice caps are melting? I mean the polar ice caps, the ones all the way at the top. Don't listen to him. Fun. He's all doom and gloom tonight. Don't listen. That's the answer, Dawn. Well, what else can you do? Someday all of this will be underwater. We'll be all drowned. What can you do? You can recycle. Half measures avail us nothing. Don't be a pessimist, Sonny. Have another Mai Tai. He's just in a dark mood because the bar is crowded tonight. He likes to spread out. He said down at the bureau that the American dollar will be depleted before our kids are grown. What? Well, what would you expect? Cotton's already useless. Well, that's kind of racist. And I'm uncertain that the government is fully aware cotton is useless. I don't understand. It's a desperate situation, really. That's why I'm depressed. Sonny, you're insufferable. It was a really weird conversation there. American dollar. That's his latest rant. But I'm not surprised by anything more. Oh, is it because... Was he saying that because dollars are Americans made of cotton? American dollars made of cotton, is that right?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Maybe back in the old days, yeah, but
Not now. Now it's just straight paper.
I mean, it might have some sort of textile in it, but I don't know.
It's probably better just to be plastic. American dollar. That's his latest rant, but I'm not hormones. Before this, it was bovine growth hormones and global warming. Nah, he's harmless. I just don't know him anymore. That's all. He takes bits and pieces of things he reads and synthesizes them all into some grand theory, and it's always the end of the world. But who can know that stuff, right? We can't even predict the weather. I mean, if you could take all these little pieces and predict how they're all going to interact, well, you'd know nothing. Oh, everything. Oops. I don't know how I said that. I'll tell you what I do with that kind of knowledge. When I first met a man, I'd look at his shoes and the kind of books he reads and what he eats for breakfast, and I'd make damn sure we weren't doomed to spend our twilight years greedily emptying Mai Tais and arguing about the American dollar.
Sausage party.
Well, you know what they say about hindsight. Here's to a better yesterday. Ha. It's very pessimistic of yourself. Maybe you caused him to turn that way. Alright, can we leave? I just want to move on. I don't want to talk to these people at the bar. We's a running. Hello.
Folks, I want to sing a song. About
Please
you.
don't.
About me.
What's going on? How come I can't talk to any of these people?
Because they don't like you. You're
I mean, she might. I feel like she would at least get you smell like cheese comment. Oh, there's a person over here. I see. Hello, Conway. There she is. You have to try one of these flower drinks. I feel like I could drink 100 of them. Not too sweet, not too strong, you know? A real session drink. I'll be scraping you off the beach. Nah, it's not one of those. Not one of those really strong drinks, just sort of. Doesn't taste like a flower. I mean, like a flower smells, you know? Perfumed, sickly sweet. Like a star thistle flower. One of my first long haul gigs ended in a crash. Did I tell you about that? I wasn't so badly, actually. Oh, it wasn't so badly, actually. I swerved to dodge some stray cattle, hit a stump on the side of the road, and flipped the trailer.
8 out of 50.
The whole rig went twisting down into a muddy ditch. It was spring, and I blacked out. I don't think I hit anything. It was just the shock of it, or maybe my brain bouncing against the inside of my skull or something. Anyway, I woke up and I've been thrown clear. Never worn a seatbelt since. Oh, why'd I bring that up? Star thistle. Oh. I wake up in a field of star thistle. The first thing I thought was, what are all these damn ugly flowers? Ah. More old stuff. I'm drowning in old stuff tonight. Feels like I've got it piled up all around me, like one of those old guys you hear about who never threw anything away. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe you should slow down. Oh no, I don't think so. In fact, I could use a few more of these, indicating his drink. Just take a book of matches to the room. That should clear everything up. Know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not making sense, am I? Ha! I think this guy's dead. I just mean to say I can't look at anything without remembering something else, and that reminds me of something else, and I'm buried in it. I just need to get my head clear for a minute and get a clear view of the day. Get oriented. There was a time when I felt this way. I'd bite the bullet, try to sober up and get a job. Is that why you're going to work for the distillery? I think I feel the same way. Maybe I'll have to find a new kind of work now. Work is therapeutic for me too. Is that why you're going to work for the distillery? Maybe it is. Seems like a pretty simple answer, right? Just follow the work as long as you can. Aha, you've got me all figured out. Yeah, I'm going to sit and look at the water for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Don't be a stranger.
A hard day's night.
Alright, let's run over here, see if there's anybody down this way. It's just a beach in the darkness with tiki torches. Maybe I should see my Twitch chat. That would help. Just a little bit.
Maybe. They might like you a little bit more if you listen to them.
It's probably a good idea. What's up, Ocelot?
Click that
Jenna.
link and help me find some movies.
Hopefully I can finish this game. Well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. Ready to get moving? How about you round up the old man if you can tear him free. Oh god, I gotta go grab this old guy now.
What's she doing? Kidnapping the elderly now?
I guess that's what she's doing. He's drunk, she drugged him, and now she's gonna take him back to her boat.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you're right about that. I never quite thought of it that way. Hey, we're getting ready to head out. Noticing Shannon for the first time. Oh. Oh, sure, I'll be right there. What are you doing, Jenna? He's a riding along this boat. Who's the game? Cleaning up, yeah. Okay. This is called Kentucky Route Zero. It's a like a point and click adventure, text adventure, I guess, kind of thing. It's slow. I'd say slow. KFC. It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths. I'm almost done with it, I think, so I'm kind of... Oh, how's the game? So I think it's slow, I would say. So I'm in the last act right now. There's another act they haven't released yet, but if this one doesn't give me the answers that I want in the story, I'm in my Steam review. I'm not going to recommend it. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths, that's Gortznia pityakampa. I don't know what that is. The prominent heart and club moth. Their diet is mostly constrained to lichen, but they make an exception for sunflowers. There's a quarter-acre sunflower orchard, and beneath that sunflower orchard, there are two small lots with small houses positioned so they just about butt right up against each other. The houses are empty now of human life. There's no sign of a person or anything living except for moths and overgrowth. There are some pipes bolted into the cave wall near the perimeter, and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by scavengers. These once supported the large grow lamps that fed the sunflowers. The lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything else will grow here but lichen, moss, and rock formation. The prominent heart and club moth will move on. The houses will be visible again, at least until somebody strips them for building materials or the river washes them away. Oh, yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. It's supposed to be like atmospheric, and the atmosphere is very weird. But like I said, it's kind of slow, and if like I'm sticking around for the story, and if the story doesn't end, they don't give me the answers, then I'm not going to be happy. I'm gonna go FK, back later. Bye, Smokey. Why they built their houses so close. Let's see. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together or lived in any proximity at all is a mystery, since they clearly despised one another. Some think they were tricked into buying the houses. It's possibly the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. Some think they were tricked into buying the houses. It's possible the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. Maybe by an unscrupulous real estate agent, or more likely a concerned family member. It stands to reason this Sorrow rift would have spent ripples of discomfort through the rest of the familial pool. Anytime these sisters were in the same room, the tension was incendiary, or so I hear. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. They took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location. Too improbable to be coincidence. To be a coincidence. Should be to be coincident? To be a coincidence? I don't know. Maybe the sunflower had some special meaning for them, or maybe when one sister saw her rival sowing the impossible seeds, she knew at once she couldn't bear to be outdone. Sounds about right. Which sister had the greener thumb, we'll never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, and the seeds mixed. Those gangly sunflowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably around the time the moths started showing up. Of course, there was no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they are. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd be in for a rude shock. Not long ago, a property tax clerk, having seen the two adjoining lots registered to the same last name, presumed they belonged to the same owner and erased the legal border between them. So now it's one lot. Valkyrie and Homer lounged below the deck. Clara, Kate, and I stopped to do some business by telephone. Valkyrie and Homer lounged below the deck. Well, I think that indicates what scene I'm going to go to next. The Mucky Mammoth. I'm hoping I only have about an hour left in this game. I think I should be pretty close to being done. And off we go. Well, those two gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the Mucky Mammoth. I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of the public telephone. I called into my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months, to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on the clients of hers. She's a birth doula, in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? Claire talked to her sister in Lithuania. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, the evening hit a low point much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. Another sight to see. Ezra taught us a card game. Shannon, Ezra, the old man, and I stopped at the Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. Ezra taught us a card game. Act 4 and 5, The Mucky Mammoth. Claire draws a card. 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Kate draws a card. 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. What are we listening to? Oh, just this tape a friend of mine sent me. They live in the desert. Vesinks? Something like that. Sounds good on the Mammoth PA. Yeah, that's the only way I listen to anything lately. Haha. To Ezra, your turn, buddy. Ezra draws a card. 9 gray feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths. 3 white doves, 8 deep breaths. This one. Will draws a card. There's no 9 gray feathers. Stay focused. Haha. No, I've got it. 7 blue petals. And 5. Oh no, it was 9. 7, 3. This game is more difficult than it sounds, my friend. You're still pretty good. We're only, how many cards in now? 5 or something? I assume we'll go to 52. Yeah, it's the whole deck. Goes until everyone forgets a card. That could go on a long time. Then we'll... Yeah, I can hear you. Not with this crowd, I guess. Haha. We are all too soggy-brained. I know I am. I even take homemade supplements for it. Shade-grown lichen boiled with the peel of a lemon, then frozen and crushed with oak leaves. It's a scalp massage oil. You can smell it if I get close. It dries the brain out a bit, which is helpful for a good memory. I can remember to use it often enough in the first place. Oh, don't worry. The soggy brain has its benefits too. If your brain is soft and damp, new ideas can make a clear impression, like a boot in wet sand. but like wet sand, it can easily get muddied and washed away. So there's a trade-off. See?
I think that is what the scientists.
Really?
No.
Oh. It's a shame. We can't have it both ways, isn't it? What's this game called, Ezra? Forgetting game? Good, I chose the short choice. Kate likes to give her passengers the opportunity to make some floating around money, and that lab pays cash in small envelopes upon completion of their little gauntlet of non-invasive tests. It's a project of the university. I think they're studying. I don't remember. Mammoth also collects their trash, mostly shredded paper through Kate says once they left half a vending machine on the dock. Nobody seemed too interested in the lab stop that night. They stayed aboard and played a card game. I read a book. Let me tell you about it. Oh, it's set in a small town in the Pacific Northwest. It takes place in a castle. Setting is an office building. Well, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. Let's go with that one. The town is never named, but it's colorfully described. Woolly, fog, broken, coastline.
Yeah, right.
All right. Provincial, shopkeepers. The main characters are mail carriers. They're co-workers, Mimi and Jen. Mimi is older than Jen, but they seem to be at the same point in their lives. They leave their work. They have a playful, antagonistic relationship with their boss. I actually only read a bit from the middle. Mimi confides in her friend about a traumatic event from her past. Jen reminisces about a cat she lost track of. The two had a cause to reflect on the history of their work together. Something got messed up, a document misplaced or filed under the wrong heading. I wasn't really paying close attention to that part, but the event prompted a long conversation about the procedural history of their work together, and that illustrated a history of their friendship in broad suggestive strokes. In my life's work at the Echo River's premier anecdotalist, I've always found that a carefully excerpted moment is more powerful than an epic history. That's my excuse anyway, for reading books from the inside out. So I stopped there. My eyelids were getting heavy. We were headed back to the lake in a chance encounter with the Iron Pharaoh. Pariah. And we're just floating down the river. I'm in a different chair today. I like to switch back between my comfy chair and my desk chair. I should probably get back to OBS, so I'm gonna just hit escape real quick. We're gonna switch over to here so I can see what's going on. Very nice. Jump back. And we're gonna go back to game. The trees. Those are nice. I like those kind of, like the art on those trees. I could use those on some maps that I've been working on. I'm actually going to borrow that idea now. I took a nap. Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. Fine, we'll do something a little bit funner. Let me check something real quick. I don't want these getting pinched, so we're going to push them outward instead of inward. Oh, that one naturally wants to go in. We're going to just put it in. We're going to get pinched that way. You got to go out. Some freedom. There we go. That's better. There we go. What kind of weirdness is this? She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little, under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of hospital entrance. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. Let's go with this one. Lyricibella. Pura Sabella. Peregrines, the common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture and they're tasty like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Sweet moss doesn't sound very tasty to me. Let's say okay. Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. What do you think? Is it supposed to be spicy? I think I got a bug. It does taste like moss. Is it supposed to be spicy? No. Go ahead and spit that out. It's okay. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your addition. The more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. Let's go over here for a second. We already read that part. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Oh, it stopped. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides. That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means, never mind. Can you eat it? Smells like honey. Yeah, sort of nauseating, though, right? Sickly sweet. Deathcap, that's the common name. It's killed a lot of people. This little mushroom includes a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Haha. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have sort of a shopping list. Great. Just grab any mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in the bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what you've got. Have fun. That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Kneels in the grass, digs in a bare patch of dirt, examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of the tree, a speckled white ball, and a cluster of softly growing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediate too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside of a hospital. Examine the speckled white ball, examine the glowing amber caps. Let's do the glowing. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Kate cuts the bundle of mushrooms from the tree roots and puts them in her bag. These are the honey ones, right? Covered in smoldering honey. Let's say cut them and put them in the bag. Let's go over here. Let's see. Investigates a rotting stump. Pokes around the base of a cypress tree. Checks out a plastic bag washed up on the island. Yeah, good. The bag is ragged and waterlogged. He nudges it with a stick, coiling up a plastic thread and spreading it out on the beach. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. He'd taken a knife from the kitchen, selected for its long serrated edge, meant for slicing bread. Its teeth had reminded him of a saw blade. He was determined to collect some firewood to heat the house. There are no mushrooms in the bag. Jump over here. Kate kneels in the grass. She parts the grass with her garden knife, studiously combing the ground. Had she never tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture, homeopathy, Ayurveda, magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. There are no mushrooms in the grass. Ezra investigates a rotting stump. The stump is ringed with overlapping shelves of mushrooms, striped brown, blue, gray, white. A caterpillar crawls along one of them. He didn't have any friends nearby. None of their new neighbors seemed to have children his age, so he played alone in the woods, alone except for the deer. Kate tries to wipe some mud off of her boot. Didn't find anything. That's okay. I just found this one. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Inspects the caterpillar. Caterpillar shuffles it listlessly across the mushroom. It seems to be dragging several of its legs, and odd brown-black thread protrudes about 2 inches out of its head. He saw strange lights in the trees, flickering purple. He kept going. Carefully picks up the cattle and puts it in its bag. Leaves the tree stump. Well, let's put it in the bag. Closes his eyes and listens to the water and distant clicks of bats. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of the sycamore trees, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. Really cool. Anyway, I make tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushroom back into her bag. So, what do your parents do for work? I mean, you have a brother out there somewhere? My dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses and they needed a lot of windows, but then they stopped building houses. My mom worked at a bakery and a bar. Sometimes she would see the same people in the morning and the evening. The bakery closed and she doesn't work at the bar anymore, but she still goes there a lot to see her friends. Do you have a family? I almost had a baby. Can I get past that? Nope, I'm locked there. Do you have a family? I almost had a baby once. I left home when I was very young, not much older than you actually. Bounced around jobs and shelters and finally found my way down the Echo River, never looked back. Years later, my mother got sick and I tried to visit her, but it was too late. She was all spaced out on fevers and morphine. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Haha. These are the only trees in this whole cave. Who planted them here? What's this island for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right. It's kind of a nice, simple shape. Pleasantly minimal island geometry. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know how much this place really know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something. Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. It's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. Ezra investigates a cypress tree, looks around the shore, examines a large stone monument. Reads the text. Rock graffiti. X+0 forever. Investigates a cypress tree, looks around the shore, investigates a cypress tree. Tree smells spicy, oily. Inspect the bark. Looks up into the branches. Some of the branches have been trimmed recently. Ezra inspects the content of his pockets. Alright, what have you got? That stone face monument has X+O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kisses forever? Or they could mean initials, Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think about think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. The branches on the tree are trimmed. Oh, good observation. So I guess somebody's still taking care of this place or just practicing the tree trimming somewhere out of the way. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that's all up to. All adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at the old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. What do you think of it? I don't know much about it firsthand, but I've heard things. Look at all those cats. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade with the card game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Yeah, I think this is some kind of weird, like, afterlife thing. Where did it come from? Have you ever been aboard? Is it full of ghosts? Have you ever been aboard? Oh no, I've never even been close. I have to admit I'm a little curious, but sometimes places get an aura of the forbidden about them, and it just seems best to stay away. I mean, none of those cats are running away scared. Plus, it would ruin the mystery. True. I've heard it was in the Civil War. Supposedly there's nobody even aboard. No people, I mean. Someone told me she got close to it by accident and heard a strange wailing sound. Cats? She was a passenger on the Mammoth. She said she's been out fishing on a rowboat and got swept up by a current near the cluttered place. Before she knew it, the Iron Pariah was upon her, unimaginably massive, up close but eerily silent. The only sounds, she said, were the lapping of the lake water against its iron hull and a faint sort of, well, she said a chorus of mews. Did I just hear something? Hello? That was weird. I'll be damned if I know what that sounds like. Haha, I've never gotten close enough to the ship myself. I've heard it was in the Civil War. I've never gotten close enough to the ship myself. Let's see. I've heard it was in the Civil War. I guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the Ohio River, and they fought on the river, like boat to boat, with cannons or something. I guess machine guns. I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Haha. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost and somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's pariah. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Back on the boat. It's time to go. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's a man-made, and the rocks weren't placed accordingly to their size, so what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump that was moved here from above ground. Of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Loch Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with Loch or Luck, or split the difference with Look, or even Lick, or really anything else, but it was never going to happen. Luck and Errol Loch met in prison. Luck and Norm Loch were high school sweethearts. Luck, W.H. Loch met in line at the DMV. Here we go. They took a chemistry class together where she challenged him to shoot the moon, learning formula and compounds well enough to answer every test question exactly wrong and achieve a perfect failing grade. Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interest. The Lochs ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. There were the Lochs of Loch Large Animal Storage and the Lucks of the Luck Family Nut Company. Let's go with the first one. That other one's crazy. The natural next step was to start a local paper, what would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Maybe they rocked around them in a spile, like a symbol of their ever-tightening bond. Probably the rocks marked the boundaries between the two families, Lucks on the inner loop and Lochs on the outer, or the other way around. And it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Shannon helped me fix up mushroom stew in the kitchen. Shannon and her friend sat out in the dingy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Mushroom stew. Let's just stay on the boat. Let's get through this. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you did, please click the circle in the middle to subscribe. The rectangle on your left is another video. The rectangle on your right is a playlist of other videos that you may enjoy. Thanks again. Peace.